That's fucked. Hello. Hello there. Welcome back to Fucked Up Storytime with your host Russell. So today, you might ask, what am I going to talk about today? Today I'm going to tell a fucked up story. This story comes from 2012. The winter of 2012, December, oddly enough, before the 21st of 2012, when I was in Mexico. In Mexico, there was something called a rainbow gathering, which is a joyous event full of many hippies. We were all camping out in the jungle. It was a beautiful time. I recall arriving at the scene, and when I arrived, I remember walking through the jungle and being in this beautiful area where there was a river flowing through, naked hippies everywhere. It was beautiful. People dancing, drumming, people swinging from the trees and jumping into the water, naked, singing, proclaiming their joy for life and their love of everything. It was amazing. It was truly beautiful. It's called a rainbow gathering. It was the rainbow gathering commemorating the change into the new world, December 21st, 2012. This was a fabled event, proclaimed, talked about in the Mayan calendar for long periods of time. It was a very special event. Now, when we arrived, after I had this momentary, incredible joy of, it was an incredible laughter. I thought, how is anybody ever going to believe this? No one will believe me back home of this. And truthfully, I've never really told the story to many. But this is a very special story because this is a story about a UFO sighting with a couple hundred, perhaps 1,000 people. And several days into the experience, the Rainbow Gathering camping event, I was smart enough to camp on high ground, and we had a special camp set up, and I left camp one day to go to something called a food circle. A food circle in these types of gatherings is when several volunteers come together to create large dinners for basically whoever is unable to afford food, and they send around a special hat during these dinners so that you can make a donation towards food for others for other nights or some other such endeavor. Now, I arrived at this food circle maybe 2 or 3 or 4 days before the 21st, 2012, December 21st, 2012. And on this day, as I arrived at the food circle, I arrived by myself, and I sat down next to a stranger who I do not recall his name. I may never meet him again. If he ever does meet me, I told him my band name. I told him about I love music. I told him I create music. He had dreads. He had some tattoos on his arm. He was a very unique individual. I sat down next to him and I spoke to him about what our 2012 experience meant to us, what we hoped to experience, what it meant, everything surrounding this sort of ideology. And his idea, he said to me, was, he believed that he would sneak into the ruins of Chichen Itza or the ruins of Palenque, which is near where we were, and he believed that he would meditate at night and he would manifest Black Panther to walk, to cross his path, to look at him, to stare him down, to assess him, and to move on. This was a very powerful image to me, because the Black Panther has very strong spiritual connections. And I told him of what I thought it meant to me, and I thought it meant, the beauty of us coming together and of dimensional meditations where you can activate certain levels of consciousness within yourself. Anyone really can, and it's just a matter of you realizing this and putting it into action. So we ended up having, after we were served dinner, we ended up having a 2-hour conversation about manifestation and our 2012 experiences. My friend was served dinner. He ate it out of a leaf. It was beautiful. I ate mine out of probably an aluminum pot or some other such device. And we truly connected. and I remember having this momentary sigh of relief of, this is so beautiful. We're in this massive circle of hundreds of people, everyone's singing and dancing around a circle of fire, and there's drums, and there's beautiful, beautiful people everywhere. It's truly amazing. It was an overcast evening, and it was dark, it was night, there was no sun. We had a momentary pause in our conversation. It was a sigh, a moment. He was sitting right next to me here, and we were kind of facing this very large circle. I had a sigh. I remember thinking, how could it get any better than this? This is incredible. I've connected with a complete stranger in a beautiful way. I've given him information that has made him feel great about himself. He's given me information that has done the exact same thing. And at this moment where we had a sigh, we paused. Remember, a 2-hour conversation about manifestation, what this experience meant to us. How could it get any better than this? At that exact moment, my life completely changed forever. Because the sky, however this worked out, the sky turned the teal or turquoise, a very bright blue-green color. Everything turned blue-green. The light appeared somewhere, somehow a light was emanating and allowed for the entire scape of my vision to turn into this color. The sky was blue, green, teal. What can I say? For a very brief moment. It was a moment of confusion. Everybody noticed this together. The drumming stopped, everything pittered off. Everyone kind of stood up, what's going on? It was a moment of complete confusion. Now, in this moment of confusion, pause, bewilderment, however you would like to describe, I was in perfect view of seeing this thing. And this was part of the reason why I went to Mexico during this time. I wanted to go to Mexico because I knew this was a very sacred event, a very sacred time. And this is one of many things that happened during the excursion to Mexico, however. It involved a UFO sighting. And what happened next, like I mentioned, changed my life forever. Because as the sky was teal blue and everything in the dead of night turned this beautiful shade of teal or turquoise, a very, very special shade. I wonder if I could see it in almost like this. It's like this type of blue. Perhaps a little more green. At this moment when the sky turned teal blue, it lasted for about 3 or 4 seconds. And I was in full view of seeing a beautiful bead of white light shoot through the sky with no sound. This was not a meteor, for if it was a meteor, it would have made an incredible sound that would have blown our eardrums and scared the shit out of all of us. So, this beautiful bead of white light shot through the clouds. Silent. And everybody saw it, except for my friend saw only the tail of it, but I was looking at the sky, my field of view was in full sight of it. As my momentary pause and sigh of relief, and as soon as it left our field of view, the sky turned back from teal to normal color. Every single individual in that food circle, this scape of enjoyment and delight, jumped out of our seats. Ah! We all cheered at the top of our lungs because we had just seen something that you can't explain in modern science or physics. Nobody really understands this, and to this day I'm still thinking about what it meant. And I truly mean, to share this experience with you, and I hope obviously you can't experience it for yourself, but remember that the reason I went to Mexico was because I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know what was there to experience. I did not want to have somebody out there come to me and say, oh, I had experienced this, so now you tell me the story, and I say, oh, I think I understand what's happened, and now I tell you the story, oh, I saw a UFO or something in Mexico. But now there's 2 degrees of separation already, whereas you hear this from me, perhaps this is 1 degree of separation. I experienced this, I am telling you this, there were hundreds or thousands of people there. They all experienced this themselves. If you find somebody that has been to Mexico for the Rainbow Gathering of 2012, the December 21st Rainbow Gathering, ask them this question, because there was many occurrences of this sky turning teal, or people recalling seeing flying lights shooting towards where the ruins of Palenque were from our location in the sky. So this is my gift to you, a very fucked up story. On a scale of 1 to fucked up, it was fucked up. My story to you of seeing a UFO firsthand. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this fucked up story time.